very often we think of vegetables as something that we don't like very much because there's just not much pizzazz to them, and you can add a lot of pizzazz to them without doing a lot of extra effort. So today I'm going to do rosemary carrots, and you can do similar things with many other kinds of vegetables. You just got to start your imagination going. So I'm going to start with 1 cup of vegetable stock. You could use just water, but this does add a lot of flavor, and you can use other flavors of stock as well. To that, I'm going to add about 1.5 pounds of carrots. I will be honest, I'm making serving sizes that I would enjoy, but this will serve 6 people, so even if you aren't a big vegetable fan, I think you'll find this one useful. We're going to bring this to a boil, and when it comes to a boil, we're going to let it simmer, turn it down, let it simmer for 8 to 10 minutes. Now you notice how I've cut the carrots here. They're in sticks, but they're in pretty healthy size sticks. Part of that is because I don't want to do a lot of extra effort when I get them ready, and so I've not cut them really small. But also, I'm going to cook them a little bit longer, and I don't want them to get so tender that they're going to fall apart. So I'm going to put the lid on this, let it come to a boil, and while that's happening, I'm going to show you how I prep the carrots. Again, it was wash, peel, and carrots, as you know, come in a tapered version so that you don't get single same size unless you're buying baby carrots, which are going to cost you extra. So what I've done is tried to prepare them so they're all similar in size, so that this one I would cut only in half, and it's easier to cut them in batons if you cut off a flat piece. So once you cut off that, then you have a flat surface and you can cut them down the center. These are not true batons because they're not little rectangles or squares all the way down, but it gets them into similar size carrots. Wash them, pared them before I got started, and then as you work your way up the carrot and it gets thicker, you just cut them into additional pieces. Some of the carrots will be extra large. You'll cut them into 4 pieces at the start, and these would go into the pot with all the others, and so I'm just going to get them in there. Again, bring these to a boil, turn it down, let them simmer for 8 to 10 minutes, and go on from there. All right, you can check and see if they've cooked as much as you want, but these are going to continue to cook some more, so you don't have to make sure that everything is done. What you want to do is, so you've got a lot of liquid left in here, and that's a lot of flavor. You don't want to just throw that away. So I'm going to add to it about 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and I'm using kosher salt. If you have regular salt, you'd probably use a little bit less than that, and then about the same amount of pepper. We're going to stir those in, and then I'm going to turn the heat up a little bit, and we're going to try and evaporate some more of this down. Now, if you're watching the sodium content of your diet, you may not want to add any salt to it at that point unless you're using an unsalted broth, because there will be some sodium that's coming from that broth, and so you want to control it. And you can add it later, but you can't take it back out. So again, we're going to let this concentrate the broth that we have there, so we concentrate the flavor that's with it. Now, what I've been doing while this has been reducing is I've come over and just shaken the pan a little bit. I don't want to stir it a lot because they're tenderizing, and I don't want to break the little sticks there much. So I think we've got it down about where I'm happy with it. So I'm going to drizzle it with a tablespoon of olive oil. And I'm going to add to it a teaspoon of chopped fresh rosemary. Now here's where using simple ingredients becomes really critical, because if you don't like the flavor of your olive oil, you're not going to like the carrots when they're done. So make sure that the olive oil you've got, taste it. Do you like that flavor? If not, maybe you need to switch to a different one, or pay a little bit more for a better one, or maybe even switch to a different kind of oil. This isn't going to cook a long time. I'm going to let it cook for a couple of minutes to let those flavors blend together. Come back and shake it a little bit from time to time, and then this is going to be done. Again, if you've got the carrots ready to go when you come home from work, you can have this ready and on the table within 15 minutes. Okay, once that's cooked down, just let it, again, give it a couple of minutes just to get everything heated through, get the oil blended in, the flavors all together, and you're ready to go. I'm going to scoop up a little bit of this just for letting you see what it looks like. But it's absolutely awesome. And again, that's more my serving size than it might be some of the rest of you. The official serving size is closer to 3/4 of a cup, half a cup, somewhere in that area. I would eat the whole thing. I hope you'll give this one a try. It's rosemary carrots, and they are terrific. For Oklahoma Gardening, I'm Barbara Brown.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.